I've been selling my soul, working all day, overtime hours for bullshit pay.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the next President of the United States, President Donald J.
Thank you. Such great spirit. I want to start by saying it's going very well. There are some bad spots in Pennsylvania where serious things have been caught or in the process of being caught. The election itself is going very well. We're leading, I believe, in all 7 swing states. So I appreciate everybody's work, and the spirit is unbelievable. I don't think there's ever been anything like it in our country's history, frankly, because we want to see our country get better. And that's why we're here, just to do a statement. Honor to have friends here. In less than 4 years, Kamala Harris has obliterated our borders, obliterated. We've never had a situation like that. Decimated the middle class, and runaway inflation has caused problems the likes of which we never thought possible. Bloodshed, squalor to our cities is common, and they've unleashed a war and chaos all over the world. Take a look, everything blowing up or getting ready to blow up. No respect for our country anymore, no respect for our leadership. No person has caused so much destruction at home and abroad should ever be allowed to be President of the United States. And so I'm running on a plan to save America. Save America. We have no choice. It's the greatest there is. We love it. We're going to save it. We have no choice. And it's going to be saving it from the incredible destruction that's been caused by crooked Joe Biden. And she's responsible because he wasn't responsible, and she never said that. He didn't know too much about what was happening. Maybe that was exposed during the debate. And yet still the way they took that away from him was not right. Shouldn't have happened that way. They walked in, they said, we're taking it away. They stole the presidency. You can call it a coup, you can call it whatever, but they stole it. They went in like taking candy from a baby. And she's running on a campaign of demoralization and really a campaign of destruction. But really, perhaps more than anything else, it's a campaign of hate. Of absolute hate. And, you know, I said yesterday that she's a vessel. She is a vessel. It's a very big, powerful party with smart people, smart. But it's vicious. They're vicious, and they're perhaps even trying to destroy our. Because who would want open borders where millions of people flow in from prisons and gangs, the worst gang members anywhere in the world? Who would want all of these transgender operations all over the place, like at will, even if you're in detention? These are things she stood for. Who wants to defund the police? She's wanted her whole career to defund the police. They changed recently. She changed on 15 different items. Fracking. She was against fracking at the highest level. Wouldn't even think about it. Now all of a sudden, But they change after the election in about 2 minutes, and I think Pennsylvania understands that. After 2 assassination attempts in just over 3 months, her lies and her slanders are very shameful and really excusable. And I can say that if I were president, somebody was openly threatened, say, you do that, opponent who I. If you do that, we will obliterate your entire. It will stop, but they wouldn't make that statement. They won't make that statement. And essentially, that statement has been made by other presidents, even concerning their opponent. You know? Today, we're going to talk about the real character of Kamala, and a person who has no remorse for the anguish she's inflicted upon families all across America. On the contrary, I have to tell you, Kamala intends to inflict, keep this misery going, and she's going to keep it going as long as she can. The only way she can get elected, going out only criticizing, talking about Hitler and Nazi, because her record's horrible. Her borders are the worst in the history of the world. Never been a border in the world. Like I always say, in third world countries, banana republic, they'd fight them away with sticks and stones if they had. We let them come in, come on in. Knowing in many cases they're murderers, drug lords, they're traitors in so many ways to our country. They were involved in our country at all, even that, coming back in, people that left because they were traitors coming back. Everybody's coming back. And it's at a level that we've never seen before. Criminals off the streets. And you know, other countries from where they're coming are now setting records, good records for them, where crime is down 70 and 75%, because they're taking the criminals off the street. They're emptying their jails into our. And they're not finished yet. I'm amazed. I thought they would have done it by now. But you take a look at Venezuela, their crime is way, way, way down. And you go to Caracas and you wouldn't recognize it. You connect the streets without being shot or killed or mugged, becoming a safe city. Taking all their criminals, most of them just are coming. They're all coming. They've taken their drug dealers and they've put them into the United States of America. Thank you very much, Kamala. Appreciate it. But she continues and will continue. Misery and her policies have caused such harm and such pain. And the three great people up here with me are going to discuss that a little while, about what's happened to them, how their lives have been shattered. I'd like to begin with the story of one mother whose life Kamala has utterly destroyed the life. And we're talking about thousands of people in very similar situations. Every day under Kamala, open border policy. And if you remember, Joe Biden appointed her as the border czar. She doesn't want to use that term. Let's say we'll just use a different term. She was responsible for the border, totally responsible. She never made one call to Border Patrol. 2 weeks ago, the Border Patrol endorsed me with the most beautiful endorsement I think I've ever gotten. And in all fairness, they've endorsed me every single year, but they've endorsed me again, and they endorsing me, saying I was the best president we've ever had and the best president by far on the border. They said that, and this is not easy for them to say, they said that she was easily the worst person ever to work with them on the border, most incompetent, the least caring. Think of it, not one call in almost 4 years was made to Border Patrol, like, how are we doing? I used to call all the time. I'd say, how are we doing, fellas? How's it going? Is it going well? They're great people, men and women, Border Patrol, great people. They want to do their job. She didn't call them once. She released the two men who murdered this woman's very precious daughter. Everything you need to know about what happened, the character of Kamala Harris, you'll know from just watching this video. We had it done yesterday. It's very, very quick, very easy to do, but it was very heartbreaking. We showed it in a room full of people, and everybody was crying. Pretty typical were crying. Please take a look.
Sunday night, I asked her to not stay up super late because of her coming to work with me in the morning first to do her summer school. She said, okay, I told her good night and I love you. I went to bed, not realizing that that was going to be the last time I saw her.
We're best friends.
Yeah.
We're going to shake it again.
I woke up to notice she wasn't in her bed. I'm in my heart trying not to lose my mind because I don't know where she is. I finally remembered her phone had a location on, and her phone was pinging just 2 minutes down the road, right behind the skate park. I start driving to the direction the phone was being pinged at, and I see a couple cop cars with lights on. I see yellow tape, and immediately my heart drops and sinks to the bottom of my stomach. My daughter's hands and ankles were both bound. She was strangled to death, left with no pants. And I know in my heart, she fought incredibly hard. She was not going down without a fight.
We begin with two men we're learning are charged with capital murder tonight, accused of killing a 12-year-old girl.
Police say these men strangled her before dumping her into that creek. Both men were in the country illegally.
Apprehended, then released by Border Patrol less than 3 weeks before Jocelyn's death. The men accused of killing Jocelyn Nungare are affiliated with the gang known for brutal violence.
Kamala Harris was in charge of immigration in our borders. If we had better border policies and not open borders and not these catch and release policies, I truly believe this all could have been prevented. Under her being vice president of this country, my daughter's life was ripped away from her. She had her entire life ahead of her.
Happy birthday, dear Jocelyn.
My daughter is 6 feet in the ground based off of policies that she allowed to keep. Kamala Harris did have one job, and she not only failed, not me, she failed my daughter. She failed Jocelyn. You know, she was only 12. President Trump reached out, gave me his sincerest condolences as not a former president, but just as a father, someone who cares. I believe Donald Trump needs to be back in office. I can at least know that my next child will be safe in this country.
Thank you very much. So I know we talk about inflation and the economy. Nothing important. The fabric of our country being destroyed, people placed there, violently placed there, foolishly, stupidly placed there. I think what's happening on the border is the single biggest issue, and I'm seeing it more and more when I speak. Inflation's terrible. It's hurting our country. Decimating seniors. Tax because they've been decimated by inflation. But what Kamala did to Jocelyn and most heartless and cold-blooded betrayal imaginable. Thousands of cases just like growing open border. Think of it, open borders. They come across the line and say, don't ever come back. If you come back, we'll kill you. Stuck. We're not going to be stuck with it. So Kamala violated her oath. She desecrated our monsters into our country. Has absolutely no right to be running for office, let alone office of president. No right. So here today is another great person, American mom, Tammy Nobles. 2 years ago, Tammy's old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, who had diagnosed, rape, tied up to death, a telephone cord in her home. Kayla's murderer was an illegal alien, S-13 gang member, among the most vicious gangs anywhere in the world. They took him out by the thousands, thanks to going to protect ICE. Kamala wanted to defund ICE. ICE would never get anybody out. Self-discipline, love our. But an MS-13 gang member who was apprehended by Border Patrol, but under the policy of our border czar, Kamala, who was released, to kill. Tammy, please say a
I just wanted to say that Homeland Security did not do their job. Health and Human Services did not do their job. The Biden-Harris administration did not do their job. If they would have done their job, made that one phone call to El Salvador, my daughter would still be alive. Kayla was very young, side out, was independent, learning to become independent, had jobs, overcame obstacles, dealing, with autism, and was to find a job that she loved. She loved animals, especially her cat Oreo, and she cared about the homeless. She loved God, loved her, and her life ripped from her days after she celebrated her 20th birthday.
Thank you, Tammy. And we will not forget Kayla. Proud of Mom. Kamala's cruel and moral actions on our border are actually disqualifying an unfit person. She knows this is going on. She never called anybody, including the 13 soldiers that were so neatly killed in Afghanistan. Horrible moment in time. Their country lost all respect to the whole world when they saw it, for the reasons that Putin, he would have never, ever ended by Rob. Biden proves that he kills the East. Putin never would have, and he didn't. He saw weakness, and I think a lot of it was seen in that horrible period of time. She is also aiding and abetting the cartels, allowing vast quantities of deadly drugs or unchecked into our country. And remember this, they now have you call the app and you, whatever you want, you bring them over, they'll tell you exactly. Can you believe it? They have an app. And they have airplanes, big, beautiful Boeing airplanes flying back and forth over up. They were saying, where are those planes going? They were loaded up with migrants, dropped west, up all over the place. And I will tell you, if you look at Aurora in Colorado, Field, Ohio, in Ohio, they 32,000 legal aliens. They tried to give them legal terminology. Legal aliens, 32,000 into a 50,000 person town, beautiful town, no problems. Want to be nice, and the mayor wants. His big thing is to get interpreters. They don't speak, but get in. But in the meantime, they people routinely be able to check the doctor, go to a hospital. They're unable to get back. The whole town has. It's happening all over our. Aurora probably is an even worse situation. Meanest, worst Venezuela in the world, probably maybe as bad or worse. And they've literally taken over. Gone into the real estate. Took over like people are paying them rent. They become the landlord, isn't that? They're rough, tough people. They have latest weapons. They have military quality weapons, and everyone's saying, where did get them out of here? So today, I'm announcing that for the first time under my administration, we will be seizing the assets of the criminal gangs and drug cartels. And we will use those assets to create a compensation fund to provide restitution for the victims of migrant crime, and the government will help in the restoration. The government will help in the restitution. Something has to be done, and we're gonna get it done. Kamala has also caused untold misery through her destruction of our economy. Our economy is not this like fake. Some of the best people on Wall Street are saying the economy is only good because they think, I don't want to say this because they think Trump's going to get elected. The economy's good. That's the only reason the stock market is up. God is here at the place, and he's one of the most respected. He's very that the stock market is only doing well. We'll see. But Kamala cast the deciding votes that caused the worst inflation in our lifetime. Maybe the worst inflation we've ever had. I don't think they're, I mean, I know for a fact they're not adding all of the worst inflation probably. And it's costing typical American families over $30,000. Nearly half Americans now say they're broke. Think of that. Half of Americans are saying they're broke. They have no money. 2/3 say they're living paycheck to paycheck. That's a record. We've never had that. To that extent, we've never, ever had. Millions of Americans are lying awake at night, worried about how they'll pay their bills because Kamala wrecked their family finance. Done nothing good. They have done nothing. I speak of Kamala, but it's partially Joe, but Joe's out of it. Now she wants to raise taxes for the typical family by $3,000 a year. She's got no empathy for the hardworking Americans whose dreams she's killed, and said recently that there is not one thing that she would do differently from Biden. That's only because she choked. I'm sure she could have come up with a couple of things. Really thought of much. Right? One of the things that people don't talk about in the news talk think of 325,000 children are missing, dead, sex slaves, or slaves. 325,000 children who came in through the open are now missing. Many of them are dead. Nobody. I said, this must be a mistake. Read it first. Read it. Take your largest stadium and fill it up many times. That's the kind of number. Here today is Michael Copy, a small business owner who runs a dry cleaner and is struggling to get by because of what Kamala has done to his business. They've destroyed. Michael?
I just want to say thank you, President, for supporting me. My honor joining you here today, and small business story with folks. So it's a chain of eco-friendly dry cleaners throughout the West. It seems not too long ago, the customer and us, the small business owner, we were able to keep up the resources available to us for expansion, or if you had a bad month, you know, or it was. And now, just a few short years later, it seems like all of those resources have dried up. Support's no longer there. We had an expansion plan about 6 years ago that we had to pause because we have to wait for our customers now to catch up. Inflation, the supply chain issues still, because we as a small business, we can't double our price point, although the cost of doing business now is 2, 3, or 4 times what it was years ago. We've had to get creative. Our industry, probably 30%, dry cleaning industry, never survived COVID. And just recently this summer, I was contacted, my wife and I, by another local dry cleaner here in West Palm. They were asking advice. The husband and wife been there for about 35 years. Their lease was up, and the landlord was doubling their rent, which would have meant that that's what they've been paying themselves for probably the better part of 20 years. So they had to make a decision. Do they hand the keys back? Do we get creative, work together, pool resources? And so what we did was we figured out the right price point for them, but we did their cleaning for them, at least until we figured it out. And so they were not able to pay their operations, couldn't keep that going, but they were able to save their business by strategically partnering. And by the end of summer, I think I was contacted by about 12 other local dry cleaners saying, can you guys help us also, because we're going through the same thing. Thank you. And it seems now, so the delta between the reality of what inflation is right now and we have in front of us, the reality of that and small business owners' capabilities, that delta is too great. So unless we affect change immediately, I fear that in the next few years, if we don't see that change, we might see another 30% of our industry and others no longer exist. I just want to say thank you again, Mr. President, for allowing me to share my Go Green Dry Cleaner story, and thank you.
Thank you. We really helped a lot of people during the prime time of China virus, and helped a lot of people that did intelligence. They took over, they just money around like dirt. As you know, the recent monster hurricane wiped out North Carolina, Alabama, South Carolina, Florida. Devastating. Response worst since Katrina, but really a lot of people still have shown up. They're not in North Carolina. People in North Carolina have suffered incredibly. Nobody to help. FEMA has been a total disaster. We had FEMA that was fantastic. We did this. We had our hurricanes too. We had some bad ones. We did a great job with there. And then you see that originally blamed, and then they tried to take money was legal migrants, close to $1 billion, and these were funds. And these, you have to say, I mean, I was in North Carolina recently. It was nobody there for the federal. The local people done incredible things. Franklin Graham has done incredible things. But there was nobody there. So we're pleased also to be joined by Christy Shamblin, a person I know and I've gotten to know over the last year or so, the mother-in-law of fallen Marine Corps Sergeant Nicole G. Nicole made the ultimate sacrifice during the disastrous withdrawal. Not that we were withdrawing. We were with dignity, strength, and power, and we were going to keep Bagram, the big air base, because of the fact that it was so close. China makes their nuclear weapon 1 hour away. Kept it. Didn't do that. But the way they withdrew, they took the soldiers out. Take the soldiers. I went 18 months without one soldier. Abdul, the leader of the Taliban. We went 18 months without one soldier even being shot at, soldier being killed. 18 months. And we left. A group of people like Millie should have been fired. They should have been fired. Anybody that was involved with that disaster should have been fired. She was one of 13 U.S. service members who lost their lives. Kamala said she was the last person in the room, that Kamala was the last person in the room. She was involved in everything. Takes credit that she was involved in everything. That means she was involved in disaster after disaster, because nothing good has happened with this administration, except that our country has gone to almost a third world status. With Biden, when Biden made a decision, she said she was there. Oh, she was there. But the Afghanistan decision was a disaster in so many different ways. Now you take a look at it, they're right back to what they were doing before, except much worse than women. They're worse than women right before, even before it started. But Kamala never reached out to the family members of warriors, and she said she was going to. She never called anybody. And Christy, I'd like you to come up and say a few words.
And she was fought. She was the cornerstone. And instead of planning to gather and holiday, our family and thousands of other families, and out at Pearl Break, that is where family celebrates modern Arlington National. The story isn't unique to ours. There are thousands and thousands, thousands of veterans home that who need our help and who are ignored by our and President Trump demonstrates peace strength. I know what he did to the Taliban when he negotiated. I made it his. What he said to them, that I will kill you if you harm one hair, one head, American. President Trump shows up, he reaches out, and he can fix our country, and we can all heal.
Thank you. So sad. Nobody should. First of all, when they left, the arms. But I want to thank Gary, Cole's memory, art, forever. The full consequences of Kamala's 4-year reign are almost terrible to us, or coming to the end of the campaign. We've really not provided the kind of protection that needed. Anyway, Secret Service would ask people. They were constant. Found secret. Very brave. I was hit. Went down. They were right on top of that, but those flying right over my head. I heard them. Right. I don't know how they didn't get hit. Actually, right. video, one thing we would say, the video is there for people to see, but they were never given the kind of help request rallies. They were always fighting. It was never given to them. Now they're given what they need. That was a constant fight. They just don't want to give us the people. And yet Biden was covered, and they'd have like 2 people. But Kamala is grossly incompetent, a total train wreck who has destroyed everything in her path, destroyed everything. She left 21 million aliens pour across our country. She, maybe in a short while, has to go home and get herself a job. But think about it, and she can look at the carnage, and she can look at all the people that have been killed. And you haven't seen anything yet. Just started. They're just getting comfortable in our. These are very tough people. These criminals make our criminals look like people. And she let the more than 13,000 convicted illegal aliens. Nobody would have let them. And remember, they came out of the worst, meanest prisons in the world. And when she says that she wouldn't do anything different, does that mean that she would have let 325,000 migrant children probably die, most? But at a minimum, they're slaves or they're sex. They're all over the country. Does that mean that she wouldn't have changed? Does that mean that she wouldn't have changed? Led much death and destruction, even could end up in depression. They are the worst combination president history of our often say Jimmy Carter's a happy. His administration, by comparison, was totally brilliant. After Kamala endorsed defunding the police, she bailed out rioters, looters, and murderers, took them right out of jail during the violent crimes in the United States. Remember, that was in Minnesota, Minneapolis. Watch CNN announcer said, "This is a friendly country." Over his shoulder, the entire skyline was burning. I've never seen it, but that's the fake news. But violent crime in the United States is up 37%. All of these different crimes are up anywhere from 37 to 105% over a very short period of time. It's almost like nobody even cares about. Very simply, Kamala Harris is not fit here. We can't have it happen. We can't have it happen. We're going to make this country strong again. We're going to make it great again. We're going to be respected again. Her message has been a message of hate and division. And my message is about saving our economy, securing our border, bringing together the greatest, broadest coalition in American history. There's never been a coalition like everybody's included. And on issue after issue, she broke it. She broke it together. But for purposes of this election, she broke it. Can't let her go. And I'm going to fix it very fast. And on the illegal, thank you very much. Thank you. On the illegal immigrants that will be taken out of the country, we're going to be taking them out. And if they come back, we have laws that will immediately enact where they serve 10 years in prison. That's long enough. We don't want them back. They're not going to come back. And as you know, we're asking for the death penalty for any migrant into our country and kills an American citizen or a police or a law enforcement person. Because we have to protect our police. Our police are under siege also at numbers that nobody thought were possible. First, ever seems very hard to recruit. And really for danger, it's hard to recruit because they don't have the spirit anymore for our country. Being led with people that are spirit, they really are spiritless. They can't instill spirit. But so that's any citizen, they get killed, the death penalty, and that includes police or law enforcement officers. But we're going to revive our economy. We're going to use a system of very fair, very reasonable tariffs. I said, powerful. We never used them. I used them. China paid us hundreds of billions. No other president's gotten free ride. So did many other. European Union is taking. They don't take our product. We take their product all over the place. Farming product, cars left and right. BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, millions and millions. They don't take our. I said to Angela Merkel at the time, Angela, how many Chevrolets do we have in Berlin? Why? I don't believe you have any. I said, you're right about that, Angela. Well, we're going to change it. But they don't take our product. We have a deficit with them of over $300 billion. Think of that. People think of them as friendly stuff. Very fair. I mean, look, they united in order to take. That's why they united. By the coalition. That was done to take advantage of the states. So we know how to take them. We're going to take it back. Like those countries, many of those companies will be coming back. They'll be coming back because when they're told that they're going to have to pay a 25% tariff, we saved our steel industry when I imposed large tariff steel coming in. They were dumping steel here, millions and millions and millions of yards of steel, like nobody's ever seen. Our steel businesses were going out of. If for no other reason, our own security. I need steel. If we'd go to war, we're not going to go to war. We're not going to have World War III. But if we ever go to war, you got to better hope that we have a steel industry for those beautiful tanks and everything else that we need to make planes, the tank, the whole thing. And I saved it by imposing. They would dump. I think they would dump. Every steel plant would have didn't do what I did. And we have to be taking, billions of dollars. In fact, it's so good that Biden has been trying his best to end it, but he's unable to do it. Too much money and too much. But I would have had it a lot different. We'll get along with China. We'll get along with Russia. We'll get along with everybody. We had the fake Russia hoax. It took 2 years. Then they came out with a report. That was a stacked deck too. The people doing it couldn't say there was millions of phone calls, not one call made. Terrible thing, and actually put us in a lot of danger. I didn't have somewhat of a relationship with Russia and Putin. All we had to have. By the way, getting along with Putin, Kim Jong-un, or when I met Obama. I was always very respectful of her, but she got up there, which shows you how nervous they are about that. They were wrong. But we're going to turn our country around, and we're going to pay a lot of respect to representatives, because that's what they are. They're representatives of millions of people. Businesses, so many businesses are dying right now. Millions and millions of people, representative, and our wounded and our hurt soldiers. We have to take care of them. They came back. Nobody take care of them. We had the greatest success, the VA. The veterans, approval rating. We got it so they had choice because they were waiting 4 or 5, 6. They were waiting 4 or 5, 6 months, 7 months to see a doctor. And I came in and I got, with the help of some of the great Congress people that are here, we have some great, thank you, quite a few of them. And I didn't even tell them to be here. They want to be here because they know exactly, oh, yes, great. But they wanted to be here. A lot of people wanted, I didn't tell anybody to be here, actually. But they wanted to be. But we have to take care of our military. Think of this. Soldiers are waiting 6 months to see a doctor. Can you imagine yourself, you could be cured with a pill or with a shot or with something very minor like a minor operation, and after 6 terminally ill. Made it. They've been trying to do this for 48 years. I made it. We call it choice, like school choice. But we call it choice, where you have your choice. You go to a doctor. You have to wait more than 1 day. You go outside. You get a doctor. And it's been unbelievable. I heard just the other day, for the time that Kamala and Biden are to destroy them. Make it so that you have to wait for 6 to where it was. We had a 92% approval rating. Now, if they go back to that, you were going to have, did another thing. You weren't able to get, because of civil service, you weren't able to get fire people. Somebody was a degenerate. They treated our heroes badly. We want them fired. We want them fired immediately. But we were unable to get them fired because they were protected by unions and by civil service. And I had it passed in Congress, which people have also been trying to get. And we were able to fire 9,000 people out of the VA and replace them with people that love our heroes as opposed to sadists. We had sadists. We had sick people. We had sadists in there that really harmed great people, great veterans. We were able to get rid of them, cut them out, replace them with people who love and take care of wonderful people that served us so well. So we did good. We had a 92% approval rating. They've been in the 40s and the 30s, and now it's heading back in that direction, I'm afraid. I hear they wanted to. It's almost like, and yet they'll spend, you can't say money because they give away billions of anybody. They won't take care of our veterans. They won't take care of our people. They won't take care of our soldiers. They won't take care of our elderly. They won't take care of anybody, but they give every time certain people come to town, they walk away with $100 million for countries that many people have never even heard of. So I just want to tell you, this is a campaign that's been long and hard. And on the road or campaigning for 58 straight days, I have to take travel. And I won't be taking one off. We have 7 days to go. You can be sure I won't be. And do many, many things every year. And I just want to end by, I've watched their commercial, and they're really fraudulent. They'll say, he doesn't want to frack. Always. They'll say, everything exactly the opposite. Oh, I want to destroy Social Security. No, they're going to. I'm the one that saved it. And for 4 years, we made it even better. I'm the one, and I didn't raise ages. I didn't do the things that they, because they're allowing millions of these people, Security, Medicare, destroy it. She's going to destroy the whole country because it's not sustainable by any country. But the ads and the statements, exactly the opposite. They will say, oh, I'm going to raise taxes. He's going to raise taxes. Just the opposite. I'm lower taxes, and I have done that, but I've got a lower tax, and she's raising taxes by 30, 40, and 50%. But they'll have a. I just say this to people understand. People are very disingenuous, and we are going to finish up our campaign. It's interesting because I haven't taken any time off for a long time. Tell you who can tell you about that, all the people that follow us, including the people in the campaign, but including Secret Service, who has really been working very hard. And yet a couple of days ago, she took off, and then she took off again. How many times? You know, you're running for president of the United States. You had, like, at that time, about 20 days left. How the hell do you take off, right? You got to work. You got to work. So he says her teleprompter. She better hope it doesn't. You know, they break. And if you don't know how to do it without a teleprompter, you got a problem. It doesn't. So I just wish they'd stop lying, because the lies are vicious, and probably some people believe them. Good news is 7 states, Republicans never lead in early voting because, for whatever reason, habit or a certain security they feel in going to the booth. They believe in principle. But we never lead in. I don't know if we've ever led in early. Every single state we're leading in. Every single state. At an early. And we don't need all of them, but at an early. And some states are in play that nobody thought would ever be in play. But I think people are seeing, because, again, we're the party of common sense. We're the party of common sense. And we want to have strong borders. We want to have great elections. We want to have fairness. We don't do things like, we're not going to have men playing in women's sports. I mean, that's okay. So we're the party of common sense, and we're the party of fairness, and we have a coalition. Nobody's ever seen anything like, I don't think anybody has ever seen anything like what happened the other night at Madison Square Garden. The love in that room. It was breathtaking, and you could have filled it many, many times with the people that were unable to get in. But politicians that have been doing this for a long time, 30 and 40 years, said there's never been an event so beautiful. It was like a love fest, an absolute love fest, and it was my honor to be involved. And hopefully, you know, they started to say, well, in 1939, the Nazis used Madison Square Garden. Well, and you know what? But can you imagine it? 1939, the Nazi, they would. But how terrible to say, right? Because, you know, they've used Madison Square Garden many times. Many people have used it, but nobody's ever had a crowd like that. And I tell you what, right now, nobody's ever had love like that. That was love in the room, and it was love for our country. It was really love for our country. So we're going to fight like hell for the next 7 days, and then hopefully... And then hopefully, and most importantly, we're going to be fighting even harder for the next 4 years, because we're going to turn this around, and we're going to make this country greater than it has ever been. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.